Hello, everybody. Miss Camay here. I am your host on the Miss Camay Show, coming to you live from the entertainment capital of the world. Gosh, things don't really look like the entertainment capital of the world right now with the governor's orders in place right now regarding COVID-19 and coronavirus. And Las Vegas looks very, very different than it normally does. It's, quite contrast for us as residents who live here to see just how much this is affecting our economy and us as individuals. So I really want to encourage each and every one of you to follow the governor's orders and stay at home for Nevada. We all are susceptible to this virus. No one is immune from it, young, old, infants to the elderly. And so it's very, very important in order for us to get some control and a handle on this pandemic that we definitely stay home. And if you guys work for an employer that is not following your current governor's orders, send me an email, reach out to me at misscamayinternational@gmail.com. I can potentially help you with that and addressing what's going on in your current community with your current employer. As you know, it's one of my platforms, being an advocate for the employee and being an advocate for the people. So I'm here to help. Definitely reach out to me if you can. On to more important news. Today, my interview is with the amazing, amazing, amazing Pastor Marvin James. Welcome to the Miss Camay Show, Mr. James. This is not your first time taking a seat at the table with me.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's always a pleasure when me and you are together. We get an opportunity to not only catch up, but to also just delve into some things that normally we don't usually delve into.
Yes, correct.
Thank
correct.
you for having me.
Yes, of course, of course. We've kept in touch since your first interview. You were on season 2 of the Miss Camay Show 5 years ago. 5 years ago. It was
Wow.
So long ago.
Wow.
And we connected. You had just written, your first book.
That's right.
And your book just resonated with me. At the time, I was not engaged. I was single. And I really resonated with your story to little Marvin that you wrote about in the book. And how you really talked to the child in you. And apologized to the child, Marvin. And I actually shared one of your chapters from that first book 5 years ago. It's actually still on the Miss Camay Show Facebook page for those of you who would like to watch. And you also have it on your YouTube channel as well, my testimony from your book. So if you guys have not connected with Marvin on YouTube. Marvin, where can people find you on YouTube?
They can find me at Step of Faith Ministries.
On youtube.com. Perfect. So that video is in Marvin's library as well as my library as well. And so I know you're doing lots of great things. We've got a lot of information to cover in a very short amount of time today. So I really want to be, very specific and calculated in what we talk about today. You're working on your second book.
Correct.
But most importantly, let's start with Step of Faith Ministries. Take me inside of the heartbeat of Step of Faith. Now, I know that you are a resident of Phoenix, Arizona, you and your wife and your beautiful daughter. You've lived there for over 20 years.
Yes.
So that is your hometown. That is where you have resided. And so you have started Step of Faith Ministries. So take me into the heartbeat of this ministry.
Well, Miss Camay, we started this ministry literally with what we had. We had a kitchen, and we started with 3 members. And from those 3 members, we grew. God blessed it, and we moved into a school building. And while we were having church, business as usual, the grown people were there. I took notice and found out that there were no youth there. There were no kids there. And so I had to, I had to ask the question, where are the kids at? You folks don't have kids, what's going on here? Are we going to turn this into a senior citizen Senior citizen worship service, Bible study, or what? So I just started digging and combing and doing some research on the state of where are the youth, you
Yeah.
know, and we spoke some in regards to some of the just, I mean, eye-opening statistics, that just resonated and reverberated into me, and when we get a chance to, I'll share some of those statistics with you.
Yeah, so I actually have them here. So 41.5% of 17-year-old youths have entered into the juvenile court system.
Correct.
Correct. And those are pretty high numbers. Actually,
Absolutely.
the highest in the country, that the youth are using prescription medication. That's something that I found as well, that it has
Absolutely.
been shared.
Yeah.
Phoenix has 100,000 displaced youth, and in a single year, 2.1 million under the age of 18 have been arrested in the U.S. alone. So that's where our youth is at. Would you agree with that? That's where our youth is.
A big portion of them, unfortunately, have been tangled into the legal system or into abusing prescription medications. And
Right.
so, yeah.
So when you did your research and you found these statistics and more statistics that, like you said, that you have discovered, what did you do with that, or what did you want to do with that?
Well, I got angry.
Yeah.
I got angry about it, because I can recall that I was one of those youth, and I've always had a heart to give back. And so the Lord impressed upon me, that I want to give you a vision. And this vision is going to be bigger than you, because if you can do it by yourself, I know you're mule-headed. You'll try to take the glory. So it'll have to be bigger than you. And so what we did was we're in the process of forming a marriage between the judicial system and our discipleship program called 180 Degrees Discipleship.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it. So keep going. I just was commenting.
Okay. All right.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's all right. But inside of this discipleship, Ms. Camay, they're going to be working on character qualities, integrity, responsibility, compassion, and then what we'll also have is individuals that'll become mentors that will come in and donate their time for different trades, such as barber, becoming a barber, becoming a plumber, becoming a carpenter, electrician,
any of those trade professions, those trade.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So once they're in that discipleship program, that'll be in the morning time. Then they transition in the afternoon to our academic side of it, which is called Up and Coming Academy. Now, inside the Up and Coming Academy, they'll earn their GED, which will come from the charter school. And so you figure, okay, we got the marriage with the court. The court is the muscle, we're the discipleship, right? So we don't have to be the bad guys. So once we get them plugged into there, we move right along to the education component, which is Up and Coming Academy. Now, with those two things plugged in, there's still a missing component, because we know that you're doing the right thing. We know that you're getting an education, but what is your passion? And that last component is called our Passion Center. That's where individuals will be able to plug in to their desire. If you're a singer, plug it in. If you're a rapper, plug it in. If you like the performance of art, plug it in. Minister, plug it in. Absolutely. If you think you're the next Michael Phelps, plug it in. If you're the next Kobe Bryant, plug it in. We want to have every resource available so that these kids can plug into their passion instead of what the street wants to make them passionate about.
Right, right. Such an amazing, amazing program. I will share with you here in Las Vegas, we
Uh-huh.
have a very large homeless youth population as well. And
Wow.
I started a nonprofit back in January of last year, focusing on the legal aspect of the community. Right now in Las Vegas, the legal community is the #1 profession in the Valley. And we have access, our youth has access to UNLV as well as William
Wow.
S. Boyd School of Law. And
Okay.
I'm very passionate about the law, have always been and always will be. And I have utilized my education and my experience in law to, become my own business owner, to become my own CEO. And I
Mm.
did that. I did that through, I guess you could say, a discipleship training, right? Academics for sure, academics for sure. And then my passion as well is how I arrived here. And
Yes.
so I believe through those same channels, we can expose the youth here in Las Vegas to a potential career in the legal field through these same exact steps. So, I
Mm.
see a lot happening for you in the future, Pastor James, not just in Arizona, but potentially partnering with other entities and other administrative agencies in other cities and other states that really has a need to serve our youth, because our youth has almost really been forgotten. My fiance and I were just talking yesterday. I was sharing with him my interview with you and the first interview with you on season 2 of the Miss Camay Show. And him and I, started to have a conversation about, when we were kids, what we had available to us to
Mm-hmm.
keep us from the streets, as you would say, to keep us
Yes.
from hanging with the wrong crowd or getting in trouble. And,
Absolutely.
like he had, basketball camps he could go to. I was, heavily involved in 4-H programs. I mean, there was a matinee movie special at the neighborhood theater for the entire summer. There were so many youth activities for the youth that
Don't
we
forget.
go
Don't
ahead, go
forget the
ahead.
park lunch. Don't forget the park lunch.
Yeah, the park, the park lunch, right? So and now here today, so many of those programs have lost funding. They've lost interest, and these types of programs with these types of people. You talk about mentorship, you talk about certified counseling therapists. Bringing people in that are certified, that have the credentials and the experience and the education to actually touch these youth.
Yes.
I think it's commendable. It really is commendable that you see into your community, because they are the future. They are our future. They are our future senators, our future city council members, our future presidents, and we need to be the example. We are the adults. It's our responsibility to be the example to our youth. So I
That's,
commend you for doing this. I really honestly commend you. What
thank you.
is Yeah, in our conversations over the last couple of days, you talk about your second book, right? Um, you talk about Plan B, reinforcing Plan A, and you have an interesting concept about that. So talk to us about that. I love hearing about reinforcing Plan A.
I knew you were going to bring that up. You know that. Well, in order to give you an analogy that would be right in line with the the motivation behind the book, I would have to go to the days before I gave my life to Christ.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of the audience. I didn't come out the womb shouting hallelujah, praise the Lord, speaking in tongues. I was a sinner. So, um, plan Plan B, Reinforce Plan A, is a book about being able being able to stick to your plan, stick to your passion, showing perseverance, and also showing resilience, being resilient in it. For example, when I was unsaved, I would have a main girlfriend. Then, along with that main girlfriend, I would have about 2 or 3 more that I would so called put them in the freezer. And so, if the main girl start acting with an attitude, rolling her neck, then I would just simply unthaw one of the three that were in the freezer and keep it moving. So, and the one thing that I found out with that logic was I never could commit to one woman because I wasn't invested into the main woman. So
Yes.
this book is designed for, hey, um, here come hell or high water, I'm seeing it through. Even if I fail, because failure is a prerequisite to success.
Right, right. Such a great message. Such a great message. I got engaged last year, and I was,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Right? I'm about to be a wife.
That's right. That's right.
And before that, I was single for 12 years. And I would say probably like in 2015, yeah, 2015, I actually met a wonderful, wonderful woman, Lisa Lamont. And I spent some time doing some sessions with Lisa Lamont. And she helped me really open my heart to love and a relationship. And that was one of the things that she discussed with me. If you want to be a wife, if you want a man to commit to you 110%, you have to commit to that man 110%. And when I
Amen.
started to, analyze my behavior as a potential partner, potential wife, and the behaviors that I wanted in my life partner and a potential husband, I had to be 110%. I wasn't going to get 110% from anybody that I wasn't giving 110% to. So again, when you're talking about plan B is reinforcing plan A, it's so significant because no matter what area of life you kind of live this philosophy, if you always have a plan B, your plan A will never flourish in abundance. Your plan B will never be blessed in totality.
Hmm.
You will continue to live your life on the fence and never truly honestly walk in your authentic greatness in anybody. So
Wow.
such a
I
such
feel
a
like I'm interviewing you. I'm getting some nuggets behind this.
such a great message. So wonderful. So what would you say to somebody who is, kind of in this situation where they've got a plan A, but they also kind of have a plan B, maybe C and or D, and are kind of operating in this place of, uncertainty and, without, pure commitment?
Well, the first thing I would say is anyone with a plan A, even if you're not committed solely to it, this would be a great opportunity to be able to understand this. In the year 2020, you don't have to be great to be exceptional. All you need to do in the year 2020 to be exceptional is to be able to persevere a little bit longer. All you have to do is be resilient a little bit longer. All you'll need to do is to be resistant towards all the thoughts of failing, all the critics, all the self-negative talk. Because the truth be told, we live in a generation that has very, very limited tolerance for conflict, very little tolerance for discomfort, very little tolerance for self-sacrifice. So if you got a plan A, no matter if you've lined up plan B, C, all the way to Z, if you want to be exceptional, all you'll need, you don't need to go to a Harvard, you don't need to go to Princeton. All you need to do is be resilient and be able to persevere that plan A.
Wow. That just really moves my spirit. It really does. Perseverance, resiliency. I truly believe that is an attribute that my mother taught me. I learned to be resilient in life watching my mother overcome adversity, watching her, like, gosh, I remember one time she had been dating this man for some time. It was the holidays. She was on her way to her work Christmas party and got a phone call from this man that, ended the relationship with her. And as heartbroken as she
Wow.
was, and as devastated as she was, she got up, she got herself together, looking like $1 million, and went to her Christmas party, and was a boss about it. And I just remember as a young teenager, just being just amazed. I just could not even believe that she went to her Christmas party, after what had happened. But she proved her resiliency. She proved, that her life, and the direction that she was going wasn't going to get stuck on this person over here that didn't value her, or appreciate her enough. I have many examples of, my mother surviving adversity, where she taught me, where I saw through vision, through a visual example, living through the experience, living through, her alcoholic marriage, and her, the domestic abuse that she survived, abuse that she survived as a young teenage girl from a Catholic priest that was molesting her. Just so many challenges that she claimed victory over, but only through resiliency, resiliency and the perseverance to continue to move through in life, and overcome those adversities and those obstacles. And it's not easy to do. I think for our audience that's watching, and you can agree with me, because as you've shared, you didn't come out of the womb screaming hallelujah and amen. You have lived a sinner's lifestyle, and you persevered, and you were very resilient, because you knew there was a voice telling you, like, this isn't what I have for you. This isn't your greatness. You need to, to persevere. So such a good message. Let me ask you this. And we were talking about marriage, and marriage is a new thing for me.
It's coming.
What was that?
It's coming.
Yes, it is. May 16th. Yeah, whether the city is open or not, like we will find a little, I don't know, a corner somewhere, maybe the living room, and that's definitely coming on that day. So it's coming, and I'm very excited. And I can share with you and our audience in true transparency that there have been times in my engagement where I have said, like, this is it. Like, this is it. It's over. We need to talk about separating, because I lack the skills and the abilities to persevere through the relationship. For me in the past, it was always easy to just end it. It was so much easier to just say, oh, this is it. I'm done. Like, miss me with that. I don't want to hear that.
You were serious about that. I saw that neck roll.
Yeah.
I saw you do that neck roll.
That's right. And that's nothing. That neck roll was nothing. And so you said something, to me, about looking to exit the marriage, or any, anything in anyone's life. I'm using marriage specific, for me, but looking to exit the marriage at the first sign of discomfort. So elaborate on that for me, if you will.
Well, women are very, very unique individuals. I believe that there's a such thing that God gives women, which is intuition.
Yes.
If you have. And with that intuition, a woman is able, when she's attracted to a man, she's able to see that finished product. And I believe the Lord allows her to see that finished product, right?
Yes.
And he does it not for her to lust after him, not for her to say, look at those biceps. No. He doesn't do it for that. The Lord allows the woman to see the final or finished product, so that once they get involved in the relationship and she don't get that finished product, she'll endure the process to make it to the finished product. But a lot of times, different things will cut in to make a person say, you know what, I didn't sign up for this. They forget about what they saw, and then they just gravitate and stay fixated on what they're currently experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Oh, me too. I got both hands up, you know.
So, so talk to us about discomfort. You know, you mentioned a woman's intuition, and I will tell you, you know, just in my fiance, you know, building this life together, building this partnership together. One of our guests who is actually joined us for the live, Shane Jasmine, she's an attorney here in Las Vegas, and her husband are life partners and business partners. They're in business together.
Wow.
And they're an amazing,
Congratulations.
yes, they're doing amazing things for the community in Las Vegas. Shane helps, you know, families with healthcare directives and, you know, estate planning matters, and just really cares and is very compassionate about our community, her and her husband both. And they've been together for many, many years. So you have to look, you know, look at the challenge and the adversity as a stepping stone. You know, we're going to get through this. We're going to come out on the other side. It's kind of like the building blocks of our foundation, you know,
That's right.
when it comes to things like credit, you know, and finances. Because, you know, when the honeymoon is over, honey, the bills and the credit and your
Yeah.
finances and
The bridegrooms go home.
yeah, you know, and the party's over and we're not turning up anymore, you know, we gotta talk about our budget, as I call it.
That's
And,
right.
you know, and we have to work together as a team. So, but things they're uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, you know, to talk about, you know, where we're at and transparency.
Hmm.
So talk about discomfort a little bit. Like, how can we identify it, and how, like, in the moment, can we say, okay, I'm uncomfortable with this, but then get to a place where we're comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, well, I can give, speak on it through experience. Um, I had issues with being insecure because I had no mom, had no dad. So there was always, did you love me? Why did they give me up? You know, but so that built into some insecurity. So when me and my wife got married, and I truly loved her. I mean, I love her more today, but I loved her then, but I was still hurting from insecurity. So I could have masked that and just said, I'm angry a lot of times. I'm angry, you know. But there was one day specifically, we used to carpool and we worked 5 minutes apart. So I got off first and I'm waiting outside in the back of the building. And I looked at my clock. I'm like, man, she's 5 minutes away. And it's like 8 minutes past, right? So literally, I felt like, was she gonna come back? Was she gonna leave me here? And so when she pulled up and I got in the car, she said, "What's wrong?" Now at that moment, I could have just said, "You know what? I'm feeling discomfort. I'm just gonna shut down and say I'm angry." But
Yeah.
you know what I told her? I said I was afraid that you wouldn't come back
And being completely transparent.
because
Yeah.
if there's no way to be loved for who you are if you're not willing to be transparent. Somebody might love you for the image, somebody might love you for your sales agent that you're presenting, but nobody will love you for the real you if you can be transparent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. I've had, I would say, several of those experiences in my relationship where something has happened and it's been a trigger for me. And
Mm,
I, you know, and thank
yeah,
God that my fiance is compassionate and understanding, and he honestly loves and cares about Camay. Like you said, it's not
mm,
about the brand, or, you know, it's not because Miss Camay, or it's not because of the pageant queen, or, you know, this or that. He
right.
truly does, you know, care about me. And so
I'm getting the sun out of my face.
I have had I have been able to go to him and say, in transparency, like, this is what came up for me, and explain to him why. And he's been very compassionate and understanding because I have been transparent with him.
That's good.
So
That's
again,
real good.
yes, being uncomfortable. It was very
absolutely.
uncomfortable. Correct. It was very uncomfortable to say, I have an issue with alcohol from my childhood. It was very uncomfortable to say, I have issues with being, lied to and deceived from my childhood. Those aren't comfortable conversations, they're not comfortable at all. I want to kind of reel that conversation back into your ministry and back into Step of Faith, and your spokes, if you will, the wheel that you've created with your, your 4 spokes,
Okay.
for your discipleship, because you're talking about, partnering with the justice system, right? Which
Absolutely.
many of us have experienced the justice system one way or the other. And so, you want to reach out and build a relationship with the judicial system. So essentially, you want to, take youth and who have come out of the judicial system and put them on this wheel of Step of Faith Ministries. Okay.
That's right.
And so they have to change their whole lifestyle. They have to change their circle of friends. They have to renew their mind. They have to change their mindset. There's so many things that these particular, young men and women have to do, the choices they have to make for themselves, in order to really be successful in society, especially after coming out of the judicial system, potentially having a criminal record,
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so when you talk about discomfort, and in closing in our interview today, talk to me, and talk to our audience about the discomfort and your target audience, your target, I guess, the word is escaping me, but your target client, if you will. They're going to come out of the judicial system and they're going to be completely uncomfortable with having to change their lifestyles. It's easy for them to go back to their friends that they had before. Mm-hmm. It's easy for them to go back to the streets. It's easy for them to go back to the same circle, the same place that they were, that actually got them into the judicial system to begin with. And it all starts with being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So share a message about that with our audience.
Well, Step of Faith Ministries saw beyond having a youth group. We saw beyond having teenagers sit in our pews. What we found that was taking place in a lot of churches, don't want to say any names, but they were dragging their kids or their teenagers to church, and they were wanting the child to leave behind their culture. So it was more like, come worship our God and leave your culture at the door. And I remember those days of being dragged to church, and they would go to church in the morning time. They would they keep you so long that they would have to feed you. They'd take a lunch break and feed you, then go back up and go at it again. Yeah. And so what we realized is that, hey, you know what? We can still preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. That message will always be the same. It will always be sacred. But what needs to change is the method in which we present that. Instead of saying, come inside of our 4 walls and leave your culture behind, what we're saying is we're inviting your culture in with you to worship with us. But the neat part about Step of Faith is the church is just the hub. I mean, that might sound anti-religious to our religious listeners, but it's only a hub. More takes place around the spokes than inside that hub. Those spokes are geared towards saving youth that have adventured and are currently caught in the judicial system. And if there isn't let me see, if it isn't a deterrent set up in place for them, then more than likely they'll end up with a lifestyle of drug addiction, a lifestyle of having babies out of wedlock, a lifestyle of residual incarceration. So what we've done is we're forming a working marriage with the judicial system, saying, hey, judge, instead of sending this young man or this young girl off to a juvenile warehouse, we want we would love to have them into our 180 degrees discipleship program. I remember speaking to one of the judges and they were like, what is this 180 degrees discipleship? I said, well, it's very simple, Your Honor. I said, whichever way they were going to get in your presence, they're going to be going the opposite inside of this discipleship program.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
so, and the neat part for us as a ministry is I don't have to be the bad guy. I don't have to say, you need to stay here, because the judicial system is the muscle that enforces the commitment. So you can either attend this 180 degrees discipleship program, where you'll also get your GED through Up and Coming Academy, and you'll also get to work on what your passion is. Or if this doesn't fit your fancy, you can go see the judge and see what they have for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to fast or pray to figure out which one you want to go to.
Right. Right. And that choice is probably going to be uncomfortable. It's probably going to
Absolutely, it's going to be uncomfortable, because instead of being around peers that that are not really friends, they're just associates. Because at that age, you just got associates. You associate through your like of girls. You associate through using marijuana, drinking alcohol, sports. You don't really have friends. You have associates. But now coming into a program that you have something in common with individuals that are struggling just like you, that can uplift you, that know where you're coming from. And that's where they bond. That's where they bond and get that cohesiveness and are able to encourage one another. You'll be amazed at what a kind word can do for an individual. But make no mistake about it, it will be discomforting.
Yes.
Because there are rules, there's structure.
Right. But being comfortable with being uncomfortable, again, that's building your tenacity. It's building your resilience. It's building your perseverance. It's building all of those attributes that a person probably lacked, which is why they got into the situation and got involved with the judicial system from the very beginning. So such great things that you're doing, Pastor James. I'm so grateful for you, your lovely wife. Tell our audience about your services right now. Kind of how you're holding services there in Phoenix. Talk to us about where we can find you on Facebook, and then again your YouTube channel, where all of your video services are uploaded. Talk to our audience about where they can find you.
Well, you can find us at mystepoffaith.com. There we have an archive of each and every sermon. You'll get to see what we're doing out in the community, geared towards the youth. We're going out in parks. We're going out in the malls. We're going out in plazas, and we're just going out and just meeting with these young kids. You can find us also at Step of Faith, YouTube.com, stepoffaithyoutube.com, and you can find me personally at Marvin J at mystepoffaith.com. Now, our service is very, very, very simple. It's 1 hour long. Have you ever heard of a black man that holds a service for 1 hour, 60 minutes? See, I can tell by your laugh you have
Yeah.
it. See, we ain't got to say no more. We don't need a no or a yes.
Right.
You know where I'm coming from, right?
Yes.
So, but here's the deal. If I spend my time doing what I need to do all week, I don't have to hold you hostage on Sunday.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Wonderful. Well, Pastor James, that concludes our interview today. I'm so grateful that you shared your message with me today here on the Miss Camay Show. I so appreciate what you're doing. I definitely want to be a resource here for you in Las Vegas when you decide to branch out and, you know, spread the wings of your platform. This is a national topic that we can certainly work with other people in other cities and other states, you know, on the same platform. Our youth is our future.
Absolutely.
We have to invest in them. It is our responsibility as the adults of the world today to do all the things that you're doing. So I thank you so very much. We will keep in touch with you. We'll definitely continue to follow you. Miss Camay International is a advocate and supporter of Step of Faith Ministries. You guys can find links in this video to connect directly with Pastor James and his YouTube channel, where you can connect with him and watch his sermons. Also, his website will be posted in the comments as well. Please reach out to him. If anybody watching knows of any youth that could benefit from just having a conversation with Pastor James, please reach out to him and connect with him directly. He would be more than happy to talk to our youth. Yes, in closing, what would you like to say?
Also, this is how giving I am, just for you, for you, my sister.
Okay.
If anybody who wants the book, The Secret of Marriage, do the opposite of what I did, email me and I'll send you the digital copy for free.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing.
I know.
Take advantage of that, you guys. I will actually put a link to that, to where you can contact Pastor James for that book. That was the first introduction for me to Pastor James, and it really resonated with me. It's amazing book. Anybody can benefit from reading it, whether you're married, getting divorced even, or you know, considering marriage. Absolutely, it absolutely can help you. So thank you so much, Pastor James. It's been such a pleasure. I hope you and your family stay safe. Stay home for Arizona. Let's love our neighbors and
absolutely
get through this together. I so appreciate you. We will be in touch and we will stay connected. Thank you so much, Pastor James.
I'll be looking for my invitation for May the 16th.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, now, sister.
All right. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.